Welcome back, everybody. Before we get into my birthday bonus, woo woo, happy birthday to me! Just got a really cool announcement. If you didn't see it on social media, we have accepted an invitation from the Believe Network. We are joining them, and if you're wondering, nothing as a subscriber changes. The only thing is, we'll play a few ads. We're just trying to grow this show. We're joining 300 other shows on this network. We're just growing, meeting new people, reaching new listeners. And without your support, they wouldn't have reached out to us. So we really appreciate you guys. And speaking of growing, we've, teased it a while back, but we're going to have a spinoff show where we're going to be reviewing horror shows as well coming in the future. Keep your eyes out for that. I'm really excited to cover shows because I know the fans are excited for that as well. But let's jump into my birthday bonus. I'm really excited for this. No film review this week. To taking a break taking a break from that. Me and Mike kind of mentioned it last year. Doing a bonus show. Like a bonus style show for our birthdays, just to get out of the monotony a little bit, have a little fun, just vibe with the boys and talk horror. So I'm excited for that. And my bonus theme is horror subgenre favorites. I got 15 subgenres if you've seen them on our socials. And speaking of socials, go follow us: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube's, all that good stuff. We're just going to go like Around the Horn. If you've ever seen that show, it's actually not even really like that, but we're just going to go around taking our turn, naming our favorite movie per subgenre. So I'm excited to get started. Go ahead, Dustin.
First of all, I want to say, I'm putting my finger up to get his
So I
attention,
thought we
not
were
to acknowledge the
respecting our
tribal
tribal
chief. Sorry.
chief. My bad.
But I want to say, sorry, Nico. That was pretty shitty of us as friends and co-hosts to let you tell yourself happy birthday. So
Happy birthday, bud.
happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. And I just want to comment on the announcements there. Yeah, it's exciting. We appreciate all the support. All it
Absolutely.
means, nothing's going to change from us. Still get good content, just more of it, more quality content on the way. Believe that, homie. Go ahead.
Let's jump into our first category. I'm excited. Number one is creature feature, and this might be a reach, but we just interviewed the man. I chose Jeepers Creepers from
No,
2001. Why do I call him a creature?
No, that works.
I don't know what the fuck he is, honestly.
Yeah.
But in Jeepers Creepers 2, you can very clearly see he has talons that look like an eagle. Looks like a creature to me. So for my favorite creature feature, I didn't rate the movie as high as something like Jaws, but I would watch Jeepers Creepers over Jaws any day, just because it's more fun. So yeah, for my creature feature, I chose Jeepers Creepers. Brian, you want to go next? We'll just go in our regular order.
Yeah, lots of good ones to choose from here. Almost went with Jaws, Jurassic Park, even The Amazing Cloverfield. But I ended on The Faculty, which I think could slot
Nice.
in a lot of different spots. Maybe stretching
Definitely.
it here, I don't know, but whatever. I went with episode 98 in our catalog.
That's a good choice.
Okay. I went a little bit outside the box, although I think it still counts. And I'm surprised that this isn't Dustin's pick as well for creature feature. I went with The Descent.
God, go to hell.
I fucking love this
Hey.
movie. All female lead cast. Love the way the creature looks in this. I think, man, the caves, the claustrophobic feeling. Obviously, we've reviewed this movie, so please go back in the archives and listen to it at don'tgoooutthere.com. But I love the movie. I think it's really great. The tension, it's not a bloated runtime. I think they do a great job of making me fear the whatever the fuck that thing is down there. So that's why I went with that.
Don't fear the Reaper.
That's where I thought he was going with that.
More on
first of
that
all, it's
later
well-
in the show.
First of all, it's well documented that I can't remember shit. I think I got my answers right for these questions. I'm like 79%, maybe 82% sure that I got my correct answers in here. But if I missed one that I've raved about previously, that's on me. Don't hold it against me. Second of all, these first two categories, maybe I'm an idiot. Like, I feel like what works for number one will also work for number
Yeah.
two, or
Yeah.
vice versa.
Sure.
Okay. So for creature feature, I went with Tremors. Fight me. It's one of the funnest movies
Nice.
ever.
No, Tremors is fun for sure. And I agree, honestly, but I kind of manipulated my choices. Because, Mike, I'm right there with you. For Monster, I chose The Descent in 2005. I mean, the claustrophobia is scary itself, but then when those cave dwellers revealed themselves, I mean, that movie is just top notch to me. I really like that movie a lot. Great choice, Brian, back in the day.
I think you could flip it. Like, I think you could flip monster and creature and get the same.
But I don't
So,
consider like a Jaw. Like I don't feel like Jaws is a monster. It's more of a creature. If you wanted to go that way. But I mean, who gives a fuck? We're just having a birthday bonus. Go ahead, Brian.
Exactly.
For my monster, I had next week's pick for me. I don't know if I can spoil that or not, but Kong Skull Island. I had that on here first, but ultimately went with another movie that could have also went in multiple categories. Episode 223 of ours, but number one in our hearts, 2018's A Quiet Place.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Nice.
All right. And again, I don't know if it's a reach or not, but I don't feel like it is because of the actual entity and character of what this is. I went with It Chapter 1 as my favorite monster movie because I think what Pennywise actually is, he takes the form of a clown, but he could take the form of fucking anything. So I felt like that entity is the monster, and that's why that mystique around that really does interest me. So I think it's a perfectly executed monster or creature film. I kind of had a toss up between the two of my first two and decided to slot them this way. But I can't rave about It Chapter 1 enough. We did a whole love fest about it for 2 hours, and we really had a hard time nitpicking it. That's how really good that first chapter is. So that's why I went with It Chapter 1.
Absolutely. Oh, man.
For my favorite monster movie, listen, I saw a lot of people answer
WrestleMania.
this one.
Oh.
Yeah. I saw a lot of people answer this one in the comments, and I was pleasantly surprised. Good on everyone who said this movie. It's very, very fresh. I saw it in theater like a week or two ago. Godzilla Minus One. It's incredible cinema. I know you three haven't seen it. You need to.
Love
It is incredible. I saw Godzilla Minus One minus color, which made it just feel so perfect because of the time frame that it takes place. But, I'm sorry for what that monster did to your people, Nico. That's just incredible cinema, though.
I was going to say Godzilla's near and dear to my heart. I grew up on them old Godzilla movies, Godzilla vs. Megalodon. Shout out to the VHS tapes. And just a quick disclaimer, all of these are subject to change because, I mean, like we've always said, like doing the shows, like, hell, maybe next week I might like this one better. So,
There you go.
we're just having
That's
fun.
my excuse.
Rules
yeah.
are made
That's
up and
my
the points
excuse.
don't matter.
That's right.
Oh,
Zombie and infection.
Now they don't matter. But when I change my mind on Dr. Sleep, it's a big fucking deal. All right.
Change your mind.
Hey,
on every movie
Dustin's
ever.
rules only apply to y'all.
Ah,
not him,
fuck.
so,
yeah, no, fuck it. Well, no, it's really Brian's rules with that one. And fucking
That's true.
whatever. Gotta.
All right, zombie infection. It's pretty easy for me. I mean, there's some good ones, but there's one that clearly sticks out. Train to Busan 2016. One of the movies that caught me the most, probably one of the movies that caught me the most off guard by how much I liked it and how much emotional pull it had on me.
Mhm.
Can't go wrong with that one. It makes me cry at the end every time.
No, you're right. And we've done so many good zombie movies that I hadn't seen over the last 4 years of doing the show, and until we reviewed them, it's really hard to not put Train to Busan on here. But I went with favorites for this list, and I can't get any better, in my opinion, than 2004's Dawn of the Dead remake. Ving motherfucking Rhames, friend of the show, Heather Langenkamp on the makeup. Episode 23 in our reviews.
I'm sorry, I cheated a little bit and went with both your answers. I have Train to Busan / Dawn of the Dead remake because I do. One, I think is just a fucking awesome film that we all gave 10s to pretty much. And then Dawn of the Dead remake is a favorite watch. Like, it's a fun watch. I love, like, I can throw it on anytime. And I had a really hard time picking. If I'm going to go one I would throw on again, it'd be Dawn of the Dead remake for all the reasons you said. I think the casting is great. I think the zombies are exactly what I want a zombie film to look like. And then I love Train to Busan because, like you said, it's such a fucking emotional film that they somehow made into a zombie movie. Like, it was really awesome. Loved every bit of the creative in that. So I had a hard time picking, so I went with both and cheated. If I had to pick one, it'd probably be Train to Busan, though.
Mike, I'm really disappointed you didn't go with Shaun of the Dead.
Hey! There's
We
more
do.
category. There's more categories,
Okay.
buddy.
Okay, I was about to say because we both love that one. But I considered going with Train to Busan, and while it is admittedly probably the better movie than what I picked, as far as favorites go, I went with I Am Legend.
Oh, yeah.
Will Smith's performance in that movie, so good. And it's, for whatever reason, it's one of those comfort movies to me. If I'm look at if a game just ended and I'm actually have TV on. I'm just like, what else is on? And it's on. I'm going there. It's usually on TNT. We know drama, but I Am Legend is a phenomenal movie.
And World War Z too. That's right up there. Gotta say.
Yeah, I thought about that one too.
Another good one was legendary blood or not legendary blood donor Rochelle McLaughlin's pick, The Sadness. That's a really
Oh,
good
yeah.
one too.
Yeah.
That movie that movie kicked a lot of ass. I had fun.
I
with
like
one.
that
Great
movie.
pick, Rochelle.
I like that one a lot more than I expected to.
Same.
For some reason, when I just had this in my mind, it's like, God, this is going to be audition all over again. For some reason, that's what I thought. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that movie. Yeah, that movie kicked a lot of ass. All right, the next category is vampire/werewolf, and I picked my movie that has both. Underworld: Rise of the Lycans, baby.
Listen, there you
That movie kicks a lot of dick. I love it. I can't wait till we review it.
This one's kind of fucked up on Nico's part to put these two together because it's one of the most difficult ones for me. I have so many favorite vampire movies. Blade 2, Interview with the Vampire, The Lost Boys, fucking Underworld. This one was rough, but I ended up going with a movie that Dustin wasn't on when we did the review way back on episode 9. I'd nominate this one for a re-review just so Dustin could be on it. 2007's Josh Hartnett, Melissa George, and 30 Days a Night.
I had that one up there too. Like it was under consideration, but Rise of the Lycans, I fuck with that movie so heavy.
So you mentioned my pick, Brian, which I almost didn't do because I don't really consider it horror, but it is kind of a horror adjacent. So I went with Interview with the Vampire. Cast is great. I fucking love that movie. It's one of my favorites. Brad Pitt, awesome. Just really good story. Hey, come on, he's good in that film, buddy.
No.
Come on,
He is.
come on, man.
Ethan Hawke
Okay.
could have done better.
You know what? Maybe I won't even. It's a new year. It's a new year, and I'm tired of emotionally reacting to things. It's what gets me where I leave group chats. I'm not doing it anymore. So what I'm going to do is pick Interview with the Vampire. We haven't reviewed it yet, but we will.
It's on my list too. So,
and I can't wait.
Nico, you had me excited when you said you picked a movie that had vampires and werewolves because I thought you were going to say what I picked. I picked Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 1. Okay. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I went with my next pick. Brian, you spoiled your next pick. I'll go ahead and spoil my next pick. I went with Blade 2.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. But I will say that Werewolf by Night and The Lost Boys made a strong push to take this category.
Our next category is a term I really don't like, but it's a well-known term in horror: torture porn. Pretty easy for me. Saw 6. I've made it pretty obvious how much I love that movie. I love the entire Saw franchise 1 through 6, but Hostel is another good one, but Saw 6 is my favorite.
And see, this was a tough one for me because I don't like torture porn movies at all, so I couldn't really go with a favorite. But I don't consider the Saw franchise torture porn, so I didn't go with any. I didn't go with any of those.
I don't either, but a lot of other people do.
A lot of people do, so yeah.
Right.
I got you. I picked Hostel because I gave it 6.25 when we reviewed it, episode 211. It's the only one that I really would put in that category and also not hate the movie. So it kind of won by default, if I'm being honest here. But I mean, I gave it 6.25. I didn't hate it.
I just came up with a new shirt. You know how cops do it by the book? Brian does it by the book. I feel like that's a fucking perfect shirt that we could put on don'tgooutthere.com for people to buy it. I thought people would buy it. I would, Brian. I would buy it.
Can we make it look?
It's funny. I had Brian do my.
Can we make it
just
look,
like it?
Just
look, just like this one. Yes, just like that one, but it says Brian does it by the book. I love it.
Brian does it by the books, but I also let him do my taxes. He also knows how to cook a book, so he's good.
Listen, we're gonna cut that for the FBI. They're listening.
And I know how to cook meth in the lab. Anyway, hey. Sorry, my bad. I went with Saw 2 as my favorite. Like you said, I don't actually consider this franchise torture porn, but because of the rules and the surrounding legacy of the Saw franchise, I feel like it gets labeled that regardless. So I'm not going to die on the hill or anything. Really love Saw 2, man. It is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I love, man, Donnie Wahlberg, awesome. The cast is fucking phenomenal. And that's probably as much as I like the first Saw, you really get to dive into Tobin Bell as Jigsaw in Saw 2. a little more, and I love the character work. I love it. It's a great film.
So I could have went with a few of the Saw movies because, like Nico, I love them all for the most part as well, except for Spiral. And Hostel's another good one, Brian. I considered that one. That one's I really enjoyed that movie. But I also, like Nico, I went with Saw 6, the traps, the story. I just love that movie.
Holy shit, me and Dustin agree on the movie. Hell yeah, brother. All right, number 6 category is home invasion. One of my favorite subgenres of horror. Dustin picked Home Invasion Month a couple years ago or a year or so ago, something like that. A lot of good ones. Don't Breathe, big fan of that one. You're Next, Vacancy. I like a lot of those, but the one that I love the most is The Strangers. Like I saw it in theaters. It creeps me out. Is Tamara home? Because You Were Home. That shit scared me, man, and I love that movie.
So you brought up Wahlberg, Mike. 1996's Fear and The Strangers were definitely honorable mentions here for me. But it was really between Your Next and what I ultimately ended up going with, which was Knock Knock. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I actually,
Hey, free fucking pizza.
I actually went with 2013's The Purge, episode 196 in our catalog reviews. I love that franchise so much that one holds a special place in my heart because of how much it really messed with my wife, and she won't watch a Purge movie to this day. So yeah, the OG Purge for me.
Home invasion is one of my favorite horror subgenres, honestly, because like we've said on this show a million times, something that could actually happen, and I think that makes for a more interesting story. A lot
I'm
of
telling you,
man,
knock
there's
knock. Knock
I
knock could
was gonna
100%
say,
happen to me.
I was
So
gonna say, have it right here. A lot of my honorable man, you could have a lot of honorable mentions here. You mentioned Knock Knock, You're Next, like all these different movies that are a little bit of a twist on home invasion that I really love. Man, even Ready or Not, like if you really wanted to call it that, I guess. But I went with the same answer as Nico. I went with The First Strangers because I do think it does it the absolute best. I love the story. I love the use of the strangers in this movie, which is why I didn't really know if we needed a sequel, but we got one anyway, and we're getting more, so I'm not going to bitch about it. But I love the use, the motiveless killer, which I've said a million times. That's a hint for another movie later, as I'm sure you're all aware what that's going to be. But I like the motiveless killer. Why are you doing this? Because you're home. Super fucking freaky. I love the score. I love the music. I love how they use silence. Just really fucking phenomenal home invasion film.
I've been very vocal about my love for the Purge franchise. And the first one, not the one titled The First Purge, is my favorite as well, Brian. Although I do enjoy the first Purge too. But yeah, The Purge, phenomenal.
Tag team match, main
Like you
event,
mentioned, Mike.
WrestleMania.
Like you mentioned though, Mike, The Strangers is, I mean, it's obviously not Halloween 70, but just the simple concept,
Sure. Yeah.
motiveless killer, it's there's definitely some similarities. Our number 7's category is haunted house, and I went with 1980's The Shining. I mean, how can you go
Buddy,
wrong?
I hate to
Overlook,
jump Brian, but we're
Jack
back to back,
Torrance,
buddy. I also have The Shining on mine.
Jack Nicholson's performance, man. I was blown away by how good it was, and it's one of those movies that just stuck with me for days, and it creeped me out just because how good he was. So yeah, my favorite haunted house is The Shining.
Plus Kubrick. I mean, chef's kiss.
Second favorite movie in that franchise. Very good. Um, this category was good for me because I was able to slide something into this one that I was having an issue with deciding on the found footage side of it. And maybe I'm a slave to the moment. I don't know, but Hell House 4, The Carmichael Manor, I just watched recently. Takes a lot to freak me out, but that movie got me. Um, it really fucked with my head. So maybe the newest one on my list, 2023's Hell House LLC Origins, The Carmichael Manor. Listen to our interview with Stephen
Wow.
Cognetti. Don't go out there.
Awesome. I already spoiled my pick, but it was 1980's The Shining for all the reasons that Nico said. Fucking phenomenal. Man, Jack Nicholson is awesome. I think just one of the best horror films of all time. I know not everyone on the show agrees. I understand, but in my opinion, I thought it was top tier, man. And I don't have a whole lot more that somebody hasn't already said about The Shining because as we covered in our episode, there's a billion documentaries, a billion books, all kinds of TV shows dedicated to it. Just go listen to our episode. But it's,
If not for anything, just the big wheel comment from Nico. Just
oh yeah,
that's
you
it.
got to listen to.
Yeah. And
Right
Dick
now.
got
Dick
Fuck
whacked.
got
out of that
waxed.
movie.
Started there.
Nah, and Dustin's conspiracy theory stuff at the end was top
It is.
notch
It
too.
is. I think we
That
had a
shit's
moon
all
landing.
100%
Yeah, I
true.
said we had a moon landing argument at the end there.
Moon landing, please. Fucking Freddy Krueger's more believable than that. So Haunted House, I wouldn't say that this one's necessarily my favorite, but Paranormal Activity stuck with me. That first one, that movie made an impression on me that I
Excellent
can't
choice.
shake. Like, I don't like possession movies, and we'll get into that in one of these later categories, or I guess the next category. But that movie really fucked with me.
Dude, Paranormal Activity, I think, is one of those movies that on the at least the first watch freaks you out a lot.
Yeah.
Like it freaked
Yeah.
me out a lot the first time I watched it. Category number 8 is possession. And the fun thing about these different categories is you can kind of shuffle things around where you get multiple picks. I chose The Conjuring 2. Janet gets possessed. I've made it pretty vocal in this show that I love the movie. We had one of Florida State's best wide receivers of all time on the show to help review it. Rashad Green, shout out to my man. Conjuring 2, love that movie, man.
All right, my possession. Jennifer's Body was tops for me, along with Yes, an A24 movie, Talk to Me. But I went with a movie here that I'm not looking forward to reviewing just because of how difficult it's going to be to do. But one of the most impactful movies I've ever watched, probably one of the best, if not the best performance I've ever watched in film, period. 2023's Nefarious. This entire review is going to be just me talking about Sean Patrick Flannery's performance. I think just fucking amazing.
All right. So as you guys know, this isn't one of my favorite genres in the world, but there are a few films that I like. You mentioned the Conjuring franchise. I'm gonna piggyback off you there and go with the first Conjuring. Probably my. I mean, I would say it's the best. Although I know there's some argument there, but it's definitely my favorite possession film. I think they get it right. I think it looks really good. James Wan and company do a great job making it suspenseful, making it creepy. And I do think the casting is great there. So I went with the first Conjuring. Definitely not the third Conjuring. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, amen. So it's no secret I hate this subgenre, but like Brian, I went with Sean Patrick Flannery's incredible performance in Nefarious. Yeah. Although Talk to Me could have easily been my pick. Two really good movies, and they're both 2023.
Nefarious, that's a good pull. That's going to be a difficult one to review though.
Dialogue.
Yeah. Category 9 is slasher. I think horrors. Those episodes always get the most listens. This one was tough. I was between two picks: Halloween Kills and Freddy vs. Jason. 2 picks. I know y'all don't really care for that much, but I chose Freddy vs. Jason just because I know Brian's a big fan of Halloween Kills, and Michael is as well. Dustin not so much. This one gets a lot of shit, but I mean, I've said my story ad nauseum, so I'm not going to say it again about FVJ. Love that movie. We've had both stars on. It's just nostalgia, man. I saw it when I was a jit. I love it.
That review let me get out of a lot of long time built up anger. I feel so much better about that movie now that I got all that out. No brainer here for me though. In this one, without question, have to go with 1996's Scream. Listen to our redo of the episode 299. It's my favorite horror movie of all time. Definitely my favorite slasher of all time. Had to go Scream.
I thought he was going to go 09 Friday. I thought he was going to go that. I didn't even think of Scream, honestly.
I think I know why he didn't. I think we're going to hear it later.
All right.
Fuck yeah. Yeah. I made the fucking rules. All right, go ahead.
I had no choice here. It's pretty obvious. I went with Halloween 1978, man. The grandfather of the genre. While not an intended slasher, it did launch this genre into the stratosphere. For all the reasons I've already heaped praise, I won't keep you long, but cinematography, score, the way they use Michael Myers, it's fucking perfect. I love it. Even its silly imperfections like Michael driving a car. It's daytime in the middle of California, and they try to make it look like Illinois. Palm trees, all that stuff. I just love it, and I still get a little spooked by it every now and then when I watch it. So that's how I know it's going to hold up for me.
Scream 4, and Scream 6 were all strong contenders for this one. But I went with Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. That's my answer. It's one of my favorite horror movies in general. I could throw it on anytime and enjoy it. And that was also the first episode that I was on with you guys, first film review I was on with you guys, way back on episode. I don't know what episode it was. It's film review number 23, I think. But yeah, way back in the day before I was officially a
Was
co-host.
that Final Destination? Oh no. You were on.
Final Destination was my first pick.
Your first actual pick. Okay.
Man, I love Jason Lives. I think everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Okay, so category 10 is psychological thriller, and I googled quite a bit of these lists just to see what all my options were, and I saw this movie on several lists. It might not actually be one, but I saw it on the damn list. 2019's Midsommar.
Oh Jesus.
Love that movie.
I'd say that counts.
And I got another.
I'd say that counts.
Hey, A24 vibes. I'm about to go on a roll, and by roll I mean 2 of them.
I'm shocked. Oh, that's less than I expected.
I love Midsommar. I actually re-listened to that review recently just because I like our deep dives. They're fun. I like those. A lot of good points made from me and Dustin are big fans. Brian's not so much a big fan, but a lot of good points made, good discussion. And that's why I feel like you should do a podcast so you can discuss, hear other people's
You
opinions.
just skipped over.
So yeah, 2019 Midsommar.
You skipped over middle of the road, Mike. You son of a bitch.
You were the closest to the IMDb rating, so yeah, mid
Shocker.
mid Mike.
Thank you.
He puts the mid and Midsommar, and I don't mean
Oh,
mid as in
there
calling you
we
mid.
go. There
Just
we
like
go.
middle of the road.
Shush.
Heyo. Nice. That was nice. Psychological thriller for me, another pretty easy one. Episode 42 in our catalog. Brad Pitt, the Spaghetti Death House and all. Got to go with 7 here. Gluttony, Grease, Sloth, Wrath, Pride, Lust, and Envy. That used to actually be my Windows entry sound back on Windows 95. Shout out Blockbuster reinstalled discs. But yeah, I'm off course here. 7 for me.
Spaghetti Death House. That was a
Great
that was a good line.
That
That was a
was.
good line.
I had to stop you mid talking because I was like, wait a minute, you can't fucking skip over the Spaghetti Death House. Did you just say that?
Brian, there's a whole portion of our fan base that has no idea what the hell you were just talking about with your Blockbuster reinstalled disc talk.
But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh yeah, I'm
those
almost as
things.
old as you, but yeah.
All right, grandpas. Listen, I'm just I'm just kidding. I almost went with Silence of the Lambs here because I rated it a 10, a fucking 10. And it probably is what I would consider the best one, but not my favorite. My favorite psychological thriller, which we've also reviewed at don'tgooutthere.com, is Shutter Island. I think Leo DiCaprio is great here. Mark Ruffalo is fucking fantastic. I love the story here. Martin Scorsese does a great job, kind of leading the film. Like, I think it's an awesome movie, man. And I never get, when it's on, I watch it. Like, that is how much I like the film. And I've always liked the story of is he insane? Is he not insane? I think he's clearly insane. But I do like that they at least leave you with a little bit of doubt. And I think that's what makes it a psychological thriller, is that we don't actually know what's happening there at the mental hospital. I think it's awesome.
If you'll recall, I loved one of these psychological thrillers so much that I wrote a pitch for a sequel to one, which you can find on don'tgooutthere.com. I went with 1 Hour Photo. R.I.P. Robin Williams. I love that movie.
It's a great movie.
Great fucking.
All right, so this is one of my favorite subgenres and probably Brian's least favorite. Friend of the show, Guy Busick, doesn't even believe in the term. It's elevated horror, and I was really torn on this one because at the end of the month, I got one I'm picking that might overtake this one, and this may be recency bias because I saw the movie last night in theaters, but I chose Pearl, 2022's Pearl. Mia Goth, her role, her performance. I'm a big fan.
I thought you'd go with The Witch.
I was close. I like that movie a lot
I
too.
actually like that one. I wrote in
Fuck that goat. Fuck that rabbit.
I wrote in quotations elevated horror because I think Nico picked this term just to fuck with me because the term makes me want to punch babies. But like, what even is elevated horror? Fucking A24 fans. I just don't get it. That's what it is.
You went with Beau Was Afraid, didn't you?
Man,
Hell no.
Hell no, brother.
I got nightmares about that movie still, just because I don't understand what's going on. Still, anyway, I actually liked It Follows. I assume that counts in this Pinky's Out
Yep.
elevated horror category.
Yep.
Pinky's Out. Episode 120. I actually gave it the highest rating of all of us, an 8.5. So 2014's It Follows.
Okay, so I wasn't 100% sure if X counted. Just because it's new doesn't mean it's elevated. So that's what I would have said, I guess. But my other answer was Hereditary, which I still think kind of like started the whole thing. I know you got that grin, buddy. I know why you got that grin. But I actually really like the film. I think it's a great story. I think, man, it's suspenseful. It's tense. I remember my theater experience with that film. It stuck with me after I got out of the theater. So, man, it may not be my favorite or the best, but it is the one that really just still sticks with me. Like Midsommar, there's too many memes. I know that Dustin has a meme about Hereditary as well. But again, I still think Toni Collette kicks fucking ass in that movie. She's awesome. And so does a certain Pole. It's also probably the second best character in the movie. So go ahead.
God, that's fucked up.
Only
Man, fucking
only
kids.
one movie can make the claim of having my favorite death scene in any movie. So, Mike, just like that head, we're on a roll. I went with Hereditary.
Jesus
Nice.
Christ, man. Jesus
All
Christ.
right. Just like that head, we're on a roll.
But I will
Flip it.
say,
Clipping that.
I will say that It Follows and Get Out were close runners
Yeah,
up.
Get Out.
Out's
That's a good one.
fucking phenomenal.
Yes.
But yeah, Hereditary. Let the good times roll, baby.
God.
Before we move on to the next one, psychological thriller, I got to give props to one other movie, The Sixth Sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
God,
I believe I also gave it a 10 or 9.5 at least.
man, Mike, I know when we were going into that film review, I felt like I'm not going to get the real experience because I already knew what was going to happen.
No, man, you
But
do.
man, that ending scene,
That's
do I
another
make her
Toni-
proud?
That
That
is
fucking
a-
car scene, boy, that fucking, woo,
That's
that
another
pulls
Toni
that.
Collette gym, baby. Let's go.
And then Bruce Willis crying, man, that's a good ass movie, man. All right.
Yeah.
All right, number 12 category is found footage. This is probably one of my least favorite subgenres, but there are a few good ones. You know, we just did Hell House LLC. I enjoyed that one. Missy Hutchinson Wall, she picked Chernobyl Diaries a few months ago, or heck, it might have even been longer than that, but I enjoyed that one. But my favorite is The Visit, M. Night's 2015. Man, I remember the first time I watched it, that ending it blew my freaking mind. I like that movie. I really like it a lot. That's my favorite found footage.
This one was one I was talking about earlier in the haunted house category, having such an issue because I love this genre so much. Blair Witch was tops on this list for me for so long. Paranormal Activity, Dustin mentioned, probably scared me the most of any movie I've ever watched. But I'm going to shout out Kevin Scanlon for picking this one. That is now number one on my found footage category, 2014's As Above, So Below. We reviewed it on episode 220. But again, just seeing the story and the depths and the layers with Dante's Inferno in found footage form, I love that movie.
I'm
creepy.
sorry, I didn't mean to laugh, but I'll never get over calling it ass above, hole below. So,
Ass above, hole below. I know. I was going to say that.
God.
I can't help it. Okay, you already mentioned Paranormal Activity. I decided to stick it here. Heyo, pause. Instead of in Haunted House, I went with Paranormal Activity. One of my favorite I would say it's my favorite found footage film. And I'm a guy that likes found footage. I like Hell House LLC, and I like all the other ones that have been mentioned, but nothing really captured that really eerie creepiness that Paranormal Activity does, man. Like the first time you see it, even upon rewatch, like it is done really, really well on a shoestring budget, which we talked about in the episode. Just one of the cheapest films ever made that had the most impact. Like incredible film, in my opinion. I really like it.
I still can't watch that movie, man.
So I already used Paranormal Activity for the haunted house one, but I will say here, found footage. That franchise should have been all found footage. Next of Kin, go to hell.
I was gonna say fuck off, Mexican.
I love found footage movies as well when they make sense. They would logically be recording.
Definitely
Just,
not. Definitely not Cloverfield.
Do with
Wait,
that.
Brian didn't pick Cloverfield. I feel like I've been
That's true.
hoodwinked.
I have been hoodwinked, Bamboozled.
Well,
Led
that's
astray.
because I finally got through to him. He understands. Like in real life, he would have thrown the fucking camera down and tried to save his life. Anyway, I wanted to go with the Blair Witch Project, the original one, just because of how much that movie stuck with me as a kid. I'll never forget staying the night at my friend Rusty's house. I was renting that movie and the Waterboy, and we had to watch the Waterboy like 5 times in a row after Blair Witch Project just so we could go to sleep that night. But I also went with As Above, So Below. What a movie! Like the storytelling, the writing is fantastic with the parallels to Dante's Inferno, like you mentioned, and that movie stuck with me. So yeah.
Yeah, that movie definitely grew on me a lot more after learning about it was exploring Dante's. Yeah, that was a good pick for sure. All right, category number 13, horror comedy. I'm excited to hear y'all's answers, but there was one that stuck out to me pretty quick. It was one of Dustin's pick recently that really caught me off guard. Little Monsters, 2019. That movie is funny as hell. I loved it. I had a great time with it. That was Lupita. She was charming. I can't remember what the main guy's name was. He was funny as hell. Josh Gad, he was hilarious. I had a great time with Little Monsters.
I mean, come on, I don't even have to do this, right? It's probably the easiest on the list for me to surprise a no one. My favorite movie of all time, 1984's Ghostbusters. Episode 108 on our review sheet, where I think Dustin and Mike were drunk during that episode, but 10 out of 10, if there ever was a 10 out of 10.
Wait, the first
And the
Ghostbusters
flowers.
review?
And the flowers are still standing. Yes.
I can't remember if I was drunk during the Ghostbusters review, but I was definitely drunk during the Leprechaun review.
I've never been drunk during a review.
Oh, bullshit, pal. Bullshit. Okay. Sorry, I got off track. You mentioned this movie earlier when I talked about zombie movies, Dustin. I went with Shaun of the Dead. I fucking love this movie.
Okay.
It's hilarious. I think it's one of the best horror comedies of all time. My personal favorite. Look, I could have gone easy and went one of the scary movie films, but I will say, and they're still funny and they're funny in clips. But something about Shaun of the Dead has, to me, aged better, held up better over time. I guess doesn't take away from the fucking one-liners from Scary Movie at all. Just I think the Shaun of the Dead is something I would throw on before throwing on Scary Movie.
This is probably my favorite subgenre. Like it's just they're fun. So I got a list to rattle off here of honorable mentions: Tucker and Dale versus Evil, Beetlejuice, Little Monsters, like Nico said, Warm Bodies, Dark Shadows, Happy Death Day, Shaun of the Dead, and The Final Girls.
Yeah,
we're all close, but my answer is Ghostbusters.
Yeah, we go.
Just like Brian. I think that was the first 10 that I gave out on this show.
It was.
And before we get people coming at us saying it's not horror, Google the phrase "is Ghostbusters horror comedy" and get back to me. Plenty of supporting articles. So
it's plenty. It's plenty. It's at least horror adjacent. It's fucking called Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Don't be ridiculous.
And Mike, I always want to address your point about Shaun of the Dead. It's just better filmmaking than Scary Movie too. It's like it's a better acted. Yeah. It looks better. It's not my kind of humor, so it's not my personal favorite. But Edgar Wright's a great filmmaker.
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to.
That's fine.
The Nike basketball spoof is one of the best things to ever come out of a movie.
It's awesome, man. So it's getting ghost fucked.
And honestly, that's probably my least favorite scenes from Scary Movie too. But category 14, remake or reboot. It Chapter 1, I gave a 10, but it's not my favorite. It's not one I'm going to pop in before the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 2003. I fuck with that movie so heavy. It's nostalgic. I had y'all remember those DVDs, the double-sided ones?
Oh, yeah.
I had the 03, 06 double-sided.
Hell yeah.
There would be many nights where I would just grab the disc from the DVD and just put in, I don't even know what side it was, and I would just watch whatever came on. I love the 2003 reboot, or I don't even know whatever you want to call it.
Remake of all
Arlie
time,
Ermey, scary as hell. Jessica Biel, she's a horrible final girl at first. Then she becomes pretty badass. Andrew Bernarski, he's horrifying. I love that movie. It's great. I would actually like to re-review that one down the road, just because that was like episode 4. I would like to give it one more chance, maybe down the road sometime.
Sure.
I think I picked that. That was that movie messed with me the very first time I watched that for sure. And at first I thought this would be super easy, and then eventually I did settle on my original thought, but it was a little more difficult than originally anticipated with the new 5 Cream reboot requel, the 03 Chainsaw remake, obviously, and honestly, Ghostbusters Afterlife's kind of serving as a requel reboot as well. Started creeping in my mind. It made this a little bit more difficult, but eventually I did settle on our episode number 125, my second favorite horror movie at the moment, 2009 or yeah, '09's Friday the 13th remake.
Thought you were going to say Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 when you started out with 2009 there, buddy. I was like, all right, good for you. I'm just kidding, man. Speaking of Halloween, I went with Halloween 2018, man. I fucking love this film. And I really wanted to go 03 Chainsaw, and it was, it's right there for sure. But I mean, we're talking about getting to see what I would consider the original Myers on the big screen for the first time. You can never take that movie theater experience away from me. Yeah, and by the way, I'm not a Rob Zombie Halloween hater, so let's clear that up now. But I just mean in the original continuity of things to see, Jamie Lee Curtis and Michael Myers face off again on the big screen. It's my first time ever doing that, and I fucking loved it. I really love that movie still. I will pop it in from time to time. I watch it multiple times a year, so it's definitely up there for me as a remake, reboot, requel, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But and then we went on a slippery slope. I like Halloween Kills, but Halloween Ends we don't have to talk about.
Dude, I like Kills better now.
I know you do.
I hate to admit it, but I have more fun watching that one now.
It's got better kills.
So you guys know I love remakes and reboots. It's like my favorite thing ever.
I was looking forward to your answer.
Okay. All right, I'm not the biggest fan of reboots and remakes. I'd rather have new content rather than digging up bones from the past, but they're not all bad. I was also a little confused on this one. Like, I didn't know if a sequel to the requel would count, like Scream 6. I didn't know if I'd count that.
It does.
Because if those do count, then my answer is actually just Jordana Brewster from Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning, just her. But
facts, though, bro. Facts.
But my real answer is Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Let's go.
After the debacle,
That
was Ghostbusters 2016, it just bounced back so nicely to the point to where I'm really looking forward to the sequel that it's getting. I loved it. Halloween 2018, Friday the 13th 09, and of course the Scream requels were close, but yeah, Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Not a boy.
Damn, not Halloween 07. What a Rob Zombie hater, man.
Yeah. Fucking phony.
All right, that's it. I'm picking 31.
I don't give a fuck. All right, the last category.
31 sucks, pal. Do it at your own risk.
I'll give it a 0.5. I don't give a damn. The last category is sci-fi. Honestly, probably one of my least favorite, but there are some good ones. I wanted to go the A24 route again with Ex Machina because I really did enjoy that movie, but
that is a good one.
I went with my pick during Brian Sci-Fi Month. I like Donnie Darko a lot. That's a really good movie. Jake Gyllenhaal's great. Yeah. Dustin was on fucking Steph Curry and the playoff vibes in that review. He was like on fire. It was great. So yeah, my sci-fi pick is 2001's Donnie Darko.
I think we're due for another sci-fi month, don't you, Dustin?
Oh,
I
God
definitely agree.
damn it. Fuck. Sorry.
I'm picking Ex Machina if we do.
Let's fucking go.
Look, that's
Sci-fi
already
month.
a good
Let's
one.
fucking
I'm picking
go.
Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, all right. Anyway,
Me and
so
Mike's
mad.
taking that week off.
I'm so mad already, bro. I'm so mad. Wait.
This is actually what I would pick. I would pick the Tom Cruise War of the Worlds remake. Really made it a competitive
that
game for me here. Actually had Faculty down here as well until I decided to use it in the Creature feature. Same with A Quiet Place. But in the fourth quarter, it was our episode number 93, arguably one of the top 5 best sequels to a movie ever, Aliens. Shout out Jeanette Goldstein. Interview, don'tgooutthere.com.
I went with Aliens, 1986 Aliens.
Nice.
I love that movie. I wasn't able to be on for the review because I was on a fucking ferry boat coming back from Disney World, so I was not able to actually be on for the review. But whoa, hey, oh fuck off, Nico. I'm more mad at Nico than getting gavelled. Fuck you. But no, look, I love Sigourney Weaver, not Wiener, for those who can't fucking speak.
Let it go.
Funniest slips of the tongue
It was
on this show was that.
And
It
it's
was
awesome.
a slip.
And then there's Bill Paxton. Man, I just love the story. And I'm not a big sci-fi guy, so this was pretty easy for me. man, there's so much I love about it, and I just carried by a badass woman and Ellen Ripley. I really, really enjoyed it.
I came here to chew gum
Nice
and
pick.
kick ass.
Mine was my number
And
two.
I'm all out of
My
bubble
number
gum.
two.
Well, I have that poster hanging in my living room. They Live. I love that movie, but I didn't go with it.
Oh,
It was really a coin flip. I went with Gattaca. It's
Oh,
such a
yeah.
great movie, and
That's a
it's
good one.
very underrated and underappreciated. So I went
Yeah,
with
that's
Gattaca.
Nice.
I was very impressed with that movie when I'd never seen it before you picked it. I liked it.
Nice.
A couple other sci-fi picks I almost chose was Aliens as well. Very good movie. The Faculty.
Yeah.
Almost chose The Faculty as well.
Yeah.
That movie, Brian, caught me off guard. I had a great time watching The
Oh,
Faculty.
it's
You
a
did.
fun-
You could
a
pop.
fun
It's got
movie,
such a
man.
fun cast. You could pop that joint in anytime.
That movie
And
is
I
90s
also-
fucking horror, man.
Another sci-fi movie that I think is underrated that I want to pick in the future is, I think it was 2020, The Invisible Man, the remake
Yeah.
by Lee
No,
Whannell. That's
Yeah, I
a
enjoyed
that's a really good remake.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to reviewing that one down the road. Y'all got any final thoughts? I had fun with this birthday bonus. It was good
Yeah.
to hear you guys picks.
Yeah, I wanted to say happy birthday, first of all, Nico. And this was one of my favorite shows we've ever done. I had a lot of fun doing this.
Yeah, man.
A lot of fun.
Absolutely.
And I have one thing to say. You guys need to take mine and our listeners' advice and go watch Godzilla -1 as soon as you can. I don't know if it's
I
still in
agree.
theaters, but as soon as it comes to streaming, it's worth renting. You're like, it's
I-
fantastic. I'm buying the
will
Blu-rays as soon as it releases.
I just wanted to throw this out there because our one genre got changed. By the way, happy birthday, Nico. But one of our genres did get changed. So just want to answer the crime genre. I went with, I forget my answer now.
What the hell?
I erased
7.
it.
You went with 7.
No, it was not 7. Fuck.
What?
Oh, god damn it.
Mine was law-abiding citizen. If I was going to keep
Ah,
it,
shit. I've already lost it. Fuck me. Oh, Zodiac. Sorry. Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
Zodiac.
Sorry, Zodiac. Yeah.
Okay.
I've never seen Zodiac, but I would like to see that. I like Jake.
Although
Gyllenhaal.
7 probably should have been the pick. Because I believe I gave it a 10.
Well, speaking of that, when you picked It Chapter 1, I was like, fucking A, I forgot all about It Chapter 1. I don't know. So it's a good thing I didn't, or I would have picked It
Yeah.
over something else.
Man, you're not going to remember every fucking movie you've ever seen, man. It's
Preach,
just
brother.
one of those things. Well,
And the thing
Well-
is, in like 6 months, if we did this again, we could
Yeah.
probably all have different answers for most categories. But I had a really good time. Let's shout out our blood donors, and then Brian, you can announce your pick for next week if you want to. Shout out our blood donors. Really appreciate y'all. We got a new final girl donor, Anita Russell. Her pick is a sci-fi movie that I've not seen, Pitch Black. I'm looking forward to watching that down the road. Camper level reoccurring, Clayton J, Nina, Michelle Mirza, the Horror Movie Crew podcast, Alex Seligson, and Michael Evans. Camp counselor reoccurring are Edwin Hernandez Gunn, Joe Swinford, Adrian Aiello, Karen, Brian Samick, Andrew Ferguson, Matt Strickland, Brooke Maley, Thorne, David Phillips, and Heather Superdoc. Really appreciate y'all's support. It means a lot to us. It helps us pay these bills. It's not cheap and it's not free to host a podcast. So we appreciate y'all's support. Brian, go ahead and announce your film review for next week.
Yeah, I actually went with, I spoiled it earlier, but 2017's Kong Skull Island. Man, there's a ton of Marvel fucking alumni in this movie. Brie Larson, Samuel L. Jackson, Tom Hiddleston, John Goodman, John C. Riley. I mean, this movie is packed full of people. And maybe it's not the place to ask. I don't know, whatever. But we're talking about Godzilla 1. Like, Dustin, is Godzilla -1, does it fall into this MonsterVerse like slot?
No.
Because if you watch, so it's not at all. It's not in this.
It's a
MonsterVerse
standalone.
thing.
Yep.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yep. It's a completely different story. And
interesting.
I didn't know that going in. I just saw Godzilla, and there's been Godzilla movies coming out. So I thought maybe. But yeah, it's not. It's 100% in Japanese as well. So it's subtitled. Nico probably won't need those. But it's, it's not related.
Oh, okay. Because all of these MonsterVerse movies have been related. I mean, they've all played off of
Right.
each other. And wow, that surprises me. Okay.
That was funny. I'm not Japanese at all, but that was good at least.
Well, didn't you say it was Chinese?
Are you Laotian? What ocean? Oh, sorry.
I'm actually Taiwanese. Appreciate my fellow co-host entertaining this birthday bonus. I thought it was a really good time. I think everybody thought it was a good time. It was fun.
Yeah.
Looking forward to our next film review. Stay tuned for an awesome interview as well. Really appreciate all support. You guys are awesome. Have a good one.
Spaghetti Death House.